Congressman Paul, let me ask you, do you agree with the Bush doctrine, or would you change it?
Well, I certainly agreed with his foreign policy that he ran on and that we as Republicans won in the year 2000. You know, the humble foreign policy, no nation building, don't be the policeman of the world. And we were strongly critical of the policy of the Clinton administration that did the opposite. And we fell short. Of course, the excuse is that 9/11 changed everything. But the Bush doctrine of preemptive war is not a minor change. This is huge. This is the first time we as a nation accept as our policy that we start the wars. I don't understand this, and that all options are on the table to go after Iran. This is not necessary. These are third world nations. They're not capable. But I think it's the misunderstanding or the disagreements that we've had in this debate along the campaign trail is the nature of the threat. I'm as concerned about the nature of the threat of terrorism as anybody, if not more so. But they don't attack us because we're free and prosperous. And there are radicals in all elements, in all religions, that will resort to violence. But if we don't understand that the reaction is because we invade their countries, and occupy their countries, we have bases in their country, and we haven't done it just since 9/11, but we have done that a long time. I mean, it was the Air Force base in Saudi Arabia before 9/11 that was given as the excuse. If we don't understand that, we can't win this war against terrorism.
You can break in here, Governor Romney.
Well, unfortunately, Ron, you need a thorough understanding of what radical jihad is, what the movement is, what its intent is, where it flows from, and the fact is that it's trying to bring down not just us, but it's trying to bring down all moderate Islamic governments, Western governments around the world, as we just saw in Pakistan.
Ron's analysis is really seriously flawed. The idea that the attack took place because of American foreign policy is precisely the reason I handed back a $10 million check to a Saudi prince who gave me that money at ground zero for the Twin Towers Fund, and then put out a press release saying America should change its foreign policy. It seems to me, if you don't face this squarely, there's an Islamic terrorist threat against us. It's an existential threat. It has nothing to do with our foreign policy. It has to do with their ideas, their theories, the things that they have done in the way they've perverted their religion into a hatred of us. And what's at stake are the things that are best about us: our freedom of religion, our freedom for women, our right to vote, our free economic system. Our foreign policy is irrelevant, totally irrelevant. If you read what they write, if you bother to listen to what they say, this comes out of their own perverted thinking.
Charlie.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me try to explain so you can understand this better. Try to visualize how we would react if they did that to us. If a country, say China, came that great distance across the ocean, and they say, we want you to live like us. We want you to have our economic system. We want bases on your land. We want to protect our oil. Even if we do that with good intentions, even if the Chinese did that with good intentions, we would all be together and we'd be furious.
Ron, you're reading their propaganda. You're reading their propaganda.
What would you do?
I'd read their writings. I'd read what they write to one another, and that's why when someone like Syed Qutb lays out the philosophy of radical jihadism and says we want to kill.
And what you're saying.
Let me complete. Wants to kill Anwar Sadat when there's the assassination of Anwar Sadat. It has nothing to do with us. Why do they kill Madame Bhutto? It has nothing to do with us. This has to do with a battle that is going on within the world of Islam, of radical, violent jihadists trying to bring down all moderate Islamic people and nations and replace them with a religious caliphate. And we are doing our very best to help support the voices of moderation.
Who had we invaded before 9/11?
They tried it in the Philippines.
We were occupying. We had an air base in Saudi Arabia.
Ron,
we have propped up. How many governments have we propped up?
Just before we start, Governor Huckabee, I owe you a few seconds because you.
There's always a radical element in almost all religions. They have to have an incentive. We give them that incentive. The question that you aren't willing to ask is, Why is it that they attack America? I mean, they don't attack the Canadians. They don't attack the Swiss. If it were merely because they want to go into Europe,
Is it
why
such
do
a
they
puzzle?
go
Is it such a mystery as to why they attack America?
They attack
It
the
is.
Israelis.
They're not going after Luxembourg.
It is because we've gone. It is because we've gone 6 miles.
We're the strongest nation in the world.
And we have.
Ron, it's simply not true. Islamic terrorists killed over 500 Americans before September 11, 2001, going back to the late 1960s. They have also killed people recently in Bali, in London. They have launched attacks in Germany. Where did the attack on the Munich Olympics take place? In the United States, or did it take place in Germany?
All right, let me stop
I
this.
could go on and on. The attack on Leon Klinghoffer. Islamic terrorists have attacked
You paint all Islamics the same way.
No, of course
I don't.
Of
They
course
absolutely
not.
do not.
Of
What
course
you're
not.
doing is
I do
damaging
not-
our relationship by destroying our relationship
I
with
do
all
not.
Muslims. That's what you're doing.
Charlie, you started it.
I did start it. Yes, I did.
Charlie, you wanted a free throw. It is important to make this point. Just the opposite, Ron. I have great respect for the Islamic religion. I have great respect for the Arab world, for the Middle East. I think we should be closer to them. I think we should trade more with them. I think we should have cultural exchanges with them. The overwhelming majority of the Islamic
Why do we
world,
support their dictators then? Why do we prop up all their dictators?
And on the evening of September 11, 2001, the day my city was attacked, I got on television and I said to the people of my city, we're not going to engage in group blame. This is a small group of people. This does not typify a great religion and a great people. So I do not accept that
But
criticism.
let's quit supporting
We're gonna miss
their
you tomorrow
dictators.
night.
We're gonna move
We'll be a lot better off.
I'm going to move on.
The president asks a very important question, and we should all come together, and we shouldn't have that many disagreements because we should be bound down by the Constitution. But the people in this country think we live in an age of relative ethics, is what they have come to the conclusion of. Sure, profess to believe in the Constitution, but why have we gone to war since World War II without a declaration of war? Why do we have a monetary system that is not designed by the Constitution? Why do we have a welfare state running out of control, not designed by the Constitution? You can't pay lip service to the Constitution without obeying it. And we should have peace and prosperity. That should be our goal. We in foreign policy ought to have a golden rule. We ought to treat others as we would want others to treat us, and we don't treat others so fairly. We treat them like we're the bully, that we're the policeman of the world, and we're going to tell them to behave. If they don't listen to us, we bomb them. If they listen to us, we give them more money, and it's bankrupting this country because we don't live up to our principles. The principles are embedded in our Constitution.